How's it going, guys? I'm Luke from Coffee House, and today we're going to be brewing a pot of coffee with the Moccamaster here. A little bit about what I have in front of me is I have a Akaya Pearl S scale, which is something we actually have in the shop, a long bar spoon, a filter, and some Guatemalan coffee that we also have in the shop. Additionally, we have a cup of filtered water here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump right into brewing on this Moccamaster and kind of talk as I brew through the process. So what we have here is we have our water reservoir up here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this right to the 1 line, and on the left, as you can see here, this measures in liters, and I like to make a pot of coffee based off of 1 liter of coffee. So I'm going to get this right up to the top, which is going to be exactly 1,000 milliliters or 1,000 grams of water. With that, I additionally have a coffee filter. This coffee filter right here is an unbleached filter. However, we sell the original Moccamaster filters in the shop. Right now, somebody decided to order all of our stock at once, so we're out of the filters right now, so we have the unbleached. And as you can see in here, we have a pre-wet filter. It's good to pre-wet your filter just to kind of avoid any papery residue taste when you're brewing your coffee. And so, as you can see here, I have some pre-ground coffee here. We just ground it in our grinder off-site. And here I wanted to just kind of show you the difference, both in color and size, obviously density here. But this is 65 grams of coffee, so our ratio is a 65 gram to 1,000 gram ratio for your water to coffee. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pour this in here, get a little bit off of the top of the brew head there, and set that aside. And set this. This comes with your Moccamaster, this top plastic piece. It sits just like on here if you decide to do so. I prefer to keep it off just so I can kind of see what's going on in there. And yeah, so now I have my bar spoon here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this on. And the first thing that I really like about the Moccamaster, and I've said this time and time again, is how fast the brew actually initiates. So, we're sitting in here 5 seconds into it, and I can already feel the unit start to heat up. You can feel it start to bubble up, and here we go. We're ready to go. And so what I'm going to do with this bar spoon here is once these first kind of droplets start to come through this transfer arm here, I'm going to give it a little stir just to make sure that all of the grounds are pre-wet and we're good to go. And there we go. So again, I've talked about this before, but consistency is a really important portion to me. Rather than providing any more automation or things like that, I'm about getting kind of like an accurate flow rate and eliminating variables. And I think that's what the Moccamaster really does best is when you're brewing with something like this, you're eliminating a lot of variables because of the consistent flow rate and temperature. So it allows you to adjust both your coffee dose and your grind size accordingly and be able to really kind of dial in exactly what you're looking for with your coffee. While this brews, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the scale and the coffee dose here. So with the Akaya scale here, it's really important to weigh out coffee based off of your grams, because if you're doing something volumetrically, that's going to be, for like a half scoop or a tablespoon, for example, coffees all weigh a little bit differently. So, if you were to weigh out a dark roast versus a light roast, the dark roast is going to take up more volume per weight, and the light roast is going to be heavier but take up less volume because of it. And that's because when you roast coffee, the darker the coffee roasts to, the less dense it's going to be, because you're burning off a lot of the actual plant material inside of the bean itself. So it's always a little bit fickle to weigh out or to measure out coffee volumetrically, so I always recommend having a scale here. Additionally, weighing out your water is the same way, or being able to measure that volumetrically, because that's going to be a little bit more accurate. So these number markers are really important to have on there at the very least. Additionally, with your grind size, there's no true way I can tell you what exactly number to grind on or anything like that, because everybody's grinder is different. But what I would say best and what I would suggest is to always kind of, grind to a medium and dial in from there. If it's a bit too strong, you can take it back a little bit, or if it's a bit too light, what you can do is you can grind it a little bit finer. Additionally, you can up your dose of coffee or decrease your dose in terms of the actual amount of coffee you put in there. So if you increase the dose, obviously it's going to be stronger, and if you decrease the dose, it's going to be a little bit of a lighter brew. And as you can see here, we're coming to kind of the tail end of our brew here. And yeah, so as I spoke a little bit about this unit more, is I really wanted to find something that didn't have all of the bells and whistles, all of the little switches and programming and timers and all of that, because like I said, this is about eliminating variables to me. And because when you want to control all of the different variables such as flow rate and temperature, it's going to be really difficult to do with a pour over, even the kettle, because it's going to be hard to exactly estimate how well you are at doing an actual pour over in terms of the flow rate of water that's coming out. So by doing this, you're getting on average with a really low error percentile of 3 grams per second for the water. So what I like about that is it allows you to kind of forget about that and forget about the temperature and forget about all of the things that will take away from your main variables and your most important variables, which is your roasted coffee and the dose and grind size accordingly. Obviously this is a little bit bigger than a 1 cup, but this can be used for a 1 cup, which I really enjoy doing. But I see this as, you know, sitting on your counter and addressing larger volumes. We have a liter here being brewed, so this is going to be great for a couple people in the office or at your house. And yeah, so we're finishing up here, and I just wanted to thank you guys for letting me talk and brew and walk kind of through the process of the Moccamaster here. And yeah, thank you again for watching, and tune in soon for a little bit of the giveaway and some more of the colors and options that we have for these Moccamasters. Thanks.